This is an ordeal. This is orchestrated. This is organized cyber stalking and harassment. So so they go from meet from underneath the balcony, or uh, all the way to Tim Hortons. They spend about 5 hours at Tim Hortons, and of course, I have a place to live. I would. Why would I spend 5 hours at Tim Hortons, especially with my gluten intolerance? And then after Tim Hortons, it's 27-minute walk all the way back to the fire department. Now, you see, they're meeting with the fire department. They're meeting with people who work for or have access to the fire department. So now by 1:40 p.m. on October 1st, they are at the fire department. Now look at this. October 2nd, fire department all day. Check the cameras at the fire department. Everybody knows what I look like. I have short brown hair. I'm about 5 foot. I'm about 5'7", 170 pounds. I've got a big nose. I mean, my nose is big. It's unmistakable. I have short brown hair and, a distinctive walk. And, I mean, I'm well known to authorities. I'm well known to authorities. People obviously know who I am in the neighborhood. There is no record of me ever being in this fire station. So how could I be here? How could I be at fire station 234 all day? I've never even walked past it. And this can't be an error because, you know, my phone is accurate. I showed you where I am, and I'll show you what happens when it moves around a little. It doesn't go all the way to the fire station, and it doesn't go all day. So you know, if I was at the fire station all day, they would tell me to leave. You know, if I refused to leave, I would get arrested. So, because I'm not a fireman, I have no business at the fire station. So why would I be at the fire station all day? Unless somebody else was at the fire station all day. They were going through my phone, they were invading my privacy, and of course, it got picked up on my location history. And of course, I found this out by complete accident, which I'll explain. So here we go. October 3rd, spent all day at the fire station, left at 5:10 in the morning. So, here you can see, and of course, when the authorities will, hopefully, if the authorities investigate, they're gonna check the cameras at, the fire. They're gonna check the cameras at the fire station. They're gonna know I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Neither was my husband. Remember, he doesn't take my phone, so he wasn't there. So and this phone is accurate. I showed you. I showed you at the beginning a trip to the bank, and I don't usually take this phone to go out with me to the bank because it's very precious to me. And I usually stick my SIM card in the flip phone and take that in case I get robbed or something. I can't lose this phone. My whole case, the whole HRTO case is on this phone. So, I mean, it's backed up. I've got it backed up on USB drives and, two computers, and everything's backed up on three different email accounts. And I have backups on micro SD cards. I have printed hard copies of everything. So, but you see, this phone is the headquarters. This is the mothership for the home base for investigations and posting and you know videos, taking videos, storing files. This is the central command. So, and of course, I've never been to Hijama Natural Healing. That in Hijama Natural Healing is another place where harassment is coordinated, where people who cyberstalk me gather at this natural healing place. So and this is all very disturbing. And you know between how would you feel if your privacy was invaded? you know pictures of your wife, your husband, your kids, your grandparents. How would you feel if you know neighbors who are criminals were had access to your private communications? People's lives are on their phone. And of course, I didn't consent to any of this. My husband doesn't consent to any of this. This is a very big scandal. And now, because TCHC is colluding with these neighbors and colluding with the city and colluding with the fire department, they're trying to put pressure on us to drive us out of the building. Through fire alarms, through hammering, nonstop hammering and banging on the walls, and disrupting our sleep, nonstop harassment from the office, trying to make us pay money that we don't owe. And of course, this is nothing new for us. We had the same problems at 38 Ann Arbor, and of course, we have made ample reports to the police. I've reported to other law enforcement agencies too, because this is serious organized crime that is going on, that is coordinating this is about organized crime and corruption in high places. And it's very difficult to fight. But it's very difficult to fight corruption, especially when we don't have any support and every one of our efforts are sabotaged. And this is why I wouldn't even normally use social media. I wouldn't use YouTube. I wouldn't use Twitter, but it has been the saving grace. We had this problem at 38 Ann Arbor where the neighbors and people in the community were colluding with Dixon Hall. Dixon Hall Housing Services, which is, you know, um, and of course, it's the same story. Co-tenants, neighbors who are harassing us, causing us problems, are tight with management. They're tight with administration. And I'm not going to get into detail about Dixon Hall. That's for another video. And then, of course, we had an incident at, of course, we ended up having to leave 38 Ann Arbor because of life and limb threat. So we were forced onto the street again. They scammed us out of my housing startup fund, and that landlord who used an alias tried to, scam us out of money too, saying we owed rent when we paid it. And of course, they tore up the lease and they tried to separate my husband and I because they want us vulnerable, divide and conquer. And, and even before then, 533 Keel was another story. That wasn't set up through a housing agency, but, I was, I had to leave. We had to leave 533 Keel because they tried. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna get into detail there. But basically, let's just say they ran us. Let's just say they terrified the holy hell out of us. They ran us out of there, and you know. Our life was in danger there. But this video, the reason why I'm not getting into detail is because this video is about this place. This video is about 4301 Kingston. It's not about 533 Keel or 38 Ann Arbor. 188 Carlton was another Dixon Hall shelter, and that was a dangerous situation. Where the people who were trying to hurt us were connected with the staff at Dixon Hall and the management at Dixon Hall. They were, and of course the management and administration at Dixon Hall, they have a bone to pick with us because we blew the whistle on their corruption scheme, and but of course they were slandering us. They were, one of the administrators actually threatened us with physical harm. And when I do give this, I have given I have given this information to the authorities before, but when I compile the next report, I will give names, but you know. So 188 Carlton, that was a disaster. So then finally, after some time on the street, we stayed at the High Hostel, where it was just slander, discrimination, harassment. And I mean, the High Hostel wasn't as bad as the other places, but it wasn't nice what was going on. And then after, of course, I got kicked out of that shelter because I had finally had enough, and I started filming the staff mistreating me, and they said you can't film in here, so you got to go. And then with the Roehampton Hotel shelter, it's the same thing: discrimination by staff, harassment, by neighbors, by other staff members, and then of course collusion by management, collusion by administration. And I mean, the only reason we got housing here was because we actually did file with the HRTO. I blew the whistle like you wouldn't believe. My husband blew the whistle about our mistreatment at that shelter, and it made the city look really bad. So they said, okay, we'll set you up here with a jaded housing deal at 4301, and unfortunately we had no choice but to take it.